Okay, today's anti-feminism rant. I was just watching a James Bond film, and it's a Pierce Brosnan film, and it's what's it called? Die Another Day. Okay, so right. I am not going to suggest that I'm the world's foremost military expert. When I was a kid, I was about 18, my family pressured me into, or manipulated me into joining the army. I only stayed in for 2 months, beyond which I would have had to stay in for 3 years. I joined an infantry regiment, a highly regarded infantry regiment, and the training was difficult. I could have finished the whole thing and stayed in for 3 years. I simply did not want to do that with my life. I had no interest in it. Having said that, it did have a profound effect on me. After 2 months of basic training, I would argue that the mental work of creating a soldier, changing a recruit into a soldier, is mainly done. Beyond that, you are professionally training the soldier to do his job beyond the conditioning necessary to get him to become a soldier. So I was made into a soldier, which is great. That's fine. I wasn't finished, so to speak. There are 2 phases of training in the British Army, or there were, both of which are 3 months long. The first is, it's not, they call it common, but it's not really common to all recruits, because in an infantry regiment it's different. You are trained in a more rigorous way, I would definitely argue. I saw the way that recruits from other regiments and corps were treated, and it was different. So we had to train harder. Fine, no big deal. I liked that. I could handle it. Like I said, the only reason I left is because I didn't want to do that. But while I was there, I wanted to prove that I could do it. Now, when I was there, and this is my own personal opinion, my honest opinion, there were females in other regiments. The infantry did not allow females in. Thank God. I would not have wanted to train alongside or beside women. No way. Girls, no way. No way. In basic training, there is no training over and above shooting and marching. Really? That's the mainstay of it. That's in phase 1. The first section that everyone as a member of the British Army goes through. The second section is definitely, I never experienced it, but that would be, especially for infantry, that would be weapons and tactics. So using mortars, machine guns, all manner of things that infantry use. But all soldiers are trained in how to shoot a rifle, and they're trained in drill to discipline them, to condition them to follow orders without thinking. Not in absolute absence of thinking, but to instinctively have the confidence to follow orders and to work as a team, to work as a unit. That's good. Now, the main purpose of this video is to describe how annoying it is for me, having been pushed to my physical, not limits, but definitely beyond the limits I had as a youngster, and having found resources I didn't know I had, which is the purpose of basic training in the army, or in the military. I'm proud of what I did. No one can take it away from me. Yes, I didn't finish. It doesn't matter to me. Beyond my training, I kept my physicality in good check the rest of my life as a result of it. I was not a sportsman at school. I was an average kid. I wasn't particularly strong or tough, and the army toughened me up. When I left, I was a lot tougher, a hell of a lot tougher. Boys who I looked at when I was at school as tough guys didn't in any way intimidate me anymore. It doesn't mean that I was some super duper thing, it's just the confidence was massive. My physicality, I had done things they would never have dreamed of doing. So, I was proud of that, and I am now. And I've kept that going. When I see in James Bond films, first of all, for example, Pierce Brosnan, skinny guy. I cannot imagine him being as effective as he is portrayed as being in the films. But it doesn't matter as much as when he is partnered with a slight woman. Now, again, I don't hate women, I love women. But we're different, men and women are different. And if some idiot, right, with an agenda, or some idiots with an agenda, are trying to pretend that men and women are identical, there's no difference between them, blah, 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 blah. And it's merely, beyond a more nasty agenda, it's essentially to try and maximize the available workforce. Because when men were going out for work, 50% of the workforce, or 50% of the people in the country, were at home, looking after kids, and those were the women. And so the people who decided to change things were like, yeah, we can get everyone involved and maximize economic benefit if we make everyone work. So we'll try and convince women that men are oppressing them, and we'll tell them that they're being freed by going to work, and thus being actually enslaved. How free are they now? Look at our families. Anyway, I am really irritated when I see women depicted as doing every single thing that this secret agent James Bond can do. Alright? It's hard enough for him to do it, and he's not in great shape. Okay? Yet, along come these girls who were in high heels 5 minutes previously, and suddenly they're expert marksmen, and they're tough, and they can throw people around. Oh, fuck. Get out of here. That really irritates me. Really irritates me, and I don't think I'm the only person, the only man it irritates. I don't think it irritates women. Women are like, oh, look at that. You know? Men are just like, what the hell is this nonsense? And that's how I feel. Now, I don't have to go into some kind of competition to prove that I'm the most masculine man in the world. I don't have to. I can hold my own. But the point is, I don't like, as a man, watching this feminist agenda playing out all around me. In the media I watch. Right? Now, in this particular instance, I'm watching Halle Berry, an American actress. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, she's jumping onto some airborne, high-altitude, low-opening personal jet craft, which is falling out the back of a military transport plane, right by James Bond. Away she goes. Blah, 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 right? Next minute, she's on the ground, and it's just... Men are built in a physically robust form so as to do things that women can't and shouldn't and don't. Okay? I do not care how much you say it's unfair. I don't care. And I would say no men do. Alright? It is irritating in the extreme, and it's also dangerous. Alright? It makes the rest of society, in our society, believe this fantasy world, okay, whereby women are the same as men. I saw a newspaper the other day, I think it was some Jewish Chronicle or something, right? And it was women soldiers, or soldiers on the front line, women, female soldiers on the front line. Get out of my face with that nonsense, right? Now, I am not a fully fledged soldier, alright? I'm a part-trained soldier. Or you might argue, well, you're not a soldier at all. Fine, I don't care. Say what you like. But I was inducted into the British Army as an infantryman, and although I didn't finish training, I went through enough to give me the military mindset and make me understand the kind of things that I would be facing if I pursued a career in the forces, alright? I found it quite curious. The first time I went to the rifle range, and the target I was firing at was an image of a person. And I thought, I'm being trained to kill. I'm being trained to shoot the enemies of my country, dead. And I'd never thought about that before. I wasn't some super tough kid, and all of a sudden I was looking down the rifle range and thinking, right, I'm being trained so that if ever I go into combat, I can kill, and the other person coming towards me trying to kill me doesn't do it first. That was quite a realization for me. I never went beyond training. I never was a fully fledged soldier. I was never deployed, blah 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 blah. Doesn't matter. I could have been. I could still be now. The psychological effect of being conditioned in that way stays with you your whole life, and it's good. It's positive. It makes you stronger and tougher. But the idea, what irritates me is this notion of throwing females into that condition. If I was stood on a front line facing enemy troops, the last thing on the list of things I would ever want is a woman beside me, because she's a liability, physically and emotionally. Emotionally, my instinct as a man is to protect her. If I am standing next to a fella who I know has the same training as me, I'm not worried about him the way I am with a woman. Not in the slightest. I look at him and I say, it's up to you to look after yourself. I'll do what I can. Because my focus is on myself. If a woman's next to me, 50% of my focus is on her and making sure no harm comes to her. It's a liability. You can't say it isn't. You can't say it isn't. And it weakens us. In any nation you're in, it weakens you. I would love to hear someone debate with me on this. I'd love it. I suppose the Israeli Defense Force is a good example of a system where they put women into these situations. I couldn't think of anything worse. I think it's an awful idea, a terrible idea. And then you might say, well, there's so many women who have done this and that and the other. It doesn't matter. It detracts from the male focus on what he's doing. It would definitely detract from my focus, definitely. No matter the training, I wouldn't be able to sit there and treat that woman like a dude. I wouldn't. It would be wrong. I can't do it in the high street. I can't do it in physical jobs I've had. I would not do it in the military. And the first thing I would do is try and get that female to safety. She would be a complete liability. Moreover, she couldn't physically handle what I was about to go through myself. It's crazy. So this whole nonsense weakens us. It completely weakens us. I am tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it in the media. I think it's irresponsible, and I think it's incredibly condemnable. I hate seeing it. I hate it. It irritates the hell out of me. Because guess what? One day, if I were called up to do service for my country of a military nature, I might have to deal with this nonsense. All these chicks running around pretending they're soldiers. I'm sorry. I don't care. You can say what you like. You could be a female soldier and you could talk to me about it. I don't care. I remember bumping into a chick. I went on holiday to the United States, and this young Hispanic girl was telling me how she's a soldier. I just thought I'd snap you in half. I didn't say it. I just sort of, okay, you know. I just ignored it. They're just running around in peacetime. And I'm sorry, but you know the scene in G.I. Jane when the guy is basically explaining what would happen if ever a female soldier was captured and she would be raped immediately. Would she be immediately raped in front of you so as to upset you and antagonize you? Oh God, this stuff's nonsense. You can't tell me that you're going to throw women behind enemy lines. It's a joke. There might be some specific circumstances where you might want to use a woman in some way. But you can't tell. No, man, it's crazy. And I'm sick of seeing this in my society, and I'm sick of seeing it in the media, because it's a lie. And that's the crux of this video. I don't like seeing it in films, and I think it weakens us. A great example is a video I've mentioned before, where the Russian video for recruiting soldiers is put next to the video for Americans. A video showing Americans recruiting girls as soldiers. It's a joke. We need to abandon this nonsense completely and just dismiss it forever. Please.